Good morning, Will. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not so much.
You up early today?
Yeah, I'm actually up early. I'm about to go tubing with my little brother and some of his friends, so
Nice.
for that.
So tell us about this season coming up. I know you guys had a real good year last year, 6 wins, made it back to the playoffs, and you got a lot of great returning talent there on the offensive side of the ball, trying to replace some key players in guys like Matt Hess and Kevin Stokes.
Yeah.
How has the preseason gone? I know it's been kind of a long preseason for you guys. You don't get started until September 19th. What's the mood like on the team as you guys are kind of, I'm sure, itching to get out there and hit the field?
It's been going well. I think we had a great preseason, and I think this long bye week and the fact that our season doesn't really start for another 2 weeks is kind of just itching on our shoulder. We all can't wait for our first game. We've been waiting for months. When's these Orange? We can't wait to go up there. So we're all. I think we're all stoked for the season. I think everybody believes that we can go. We can go far. But it's just about it's still putting in work. We still got little things that we got to work on, and we're still taking our time because we know we have 2 to 3 weeks to face these Orange. So everything now is kind of just building up to that one game, and then that's going to set the tone for the whole season.
Is Coach Chuck Smith giving you guys a little bit of a mental reprieve here this weekend to kind of step back away from things, or are you guys still going full force?
We're still going full force, us as the players in the games, but we're not trying to, maybe in the scrimmages, we're not trying to show everything we got, We don't want to show all the teams, everything that we have in the playbook and all. But, as a team, we're still trying to go full force, win all the games, of course, do the best that we can. We just got done a scrimmage with Ocean City, so, it went well. But, we still all can't wait for East Orange. That's what we're all looking forward to.
I got to believe this defense this year is going to be ready for anything that gets thrown at them, especially going up against the kind of offense you guys do on a daily basis with Kendall Elliott, Terrence Smith, a lot of great players there on offense and a lot of different things they can do. How much does that help you guys out defensively going up against those guys every day?
I think it definitely helps, especially going against someone like Terrence and Kendall. Terrence is he's a workhorse, and it takes a lot to take him down. And Kendall, I'll tell you, man, he's a hard guy to tackle. So it helps that it helps that we're going against such good athletes instead of just a basic offense. It definitely does help.
One guy I've been kind of impressed with, and talk a little bit about him, is Yair Hinton. This guy is just he's got himself built up physically. He seems like he's stepping into a team leadership type of role. And how important is he going to be for your season?
I think he's just as important as anyone else. He's right next to me all the time. He's like my tag team partner. I probably couldn't do anything without him. I'm calling the plays, but I think he's just as important as Kendall, Terrence, anybody else on the team. He's an animal on the field. And every minute he's emotional. He's always trying to motivate everybody. He's the loudest player on the team, the loudest player on the field. You can never get that guy quiet. Coach will say, everybody quiet up, and he's the one that's super pumped up. He's not calm. He's not quiet. He's always ready to hit somebody. So I love that in him. You know what I mean? We could be losing by 3 touchdowns, and he's still thinking it's 0-0, ready to win the game.
Nice. You definitely need a guy like that on your roster.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely going to be a great leader his senior year.
Talking with Will Fish from the Oakcrest football team, senior linebacker. Will, tell us a little bit about something unique you guys have been doing the last couple of years. I know some other schools have been doing this, EHT, one of them, where you get these guys from the Marine Corps recruiting station coming out and really putting you guys through, I'd have to think one of the hardest workouts of your life. That was a couple weeks ago, a hot Saturday morning, afternoon.
Yeah,
and what was that like for you?
I really liked it. We did it last year, and, it was kind of new to us. It was kind of like, the Marines are here. This is going to be hard. So, and it definitely was hard. They worked us. It was hot. It was humid. Sun's beating on you. And, they say, listen, guys, once you step onto this field, we are going to tell you what to do, and you are going to have to listen. And, of course, we're like, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. But we didn't realize what it was really going to be. So I love it. It's the hardest workout I've ever done. Constant running, you're focused 24/7. You got to listen to them, and it really does. I think it really does build character and break character. It shows the coaches and other players, what players are willing to push yourselves to win the game or finish the goal. Because you really see all the kids who are oh, no, guys, come on, we got to keep going. But then you also see the guys who are like, you know, they kind of need help. They kind of need a little bit of motivation. They need a little push. Mm-hmm. So I really like it. I think it's great.
I think what really impressed me was at the end there was a couple guys. I mean, you know, we're talking 95 degrees, humidity. A couple of guys were kind of struggling to finish. And what impressed me about this squad was pretty much everybody on the team ran over to those guys and kind of helped them across the finish line. You know, what does that say about this team and this program? You know, you guys have really fought hard to come back from a one-win season a couple years ago to really become a player here in the Cape Atlantic League.
I mean, I think it really shows us, you know, we really are a family. You know, we're all about, you know, we all want to win, of course. You know, every team wants to win. You know, every team wants to be the greatest there ever was. But, you know, we really are a family. Yeah, I mean, we really are a family. I mean, every day at practice when we break, we don't say, you know, like, go Falcons. It's always, you know, family on three, because we're big on that. You know, if I cross the finish line, then I want every player behind me crossing the finish line with me. So I think that shows, you know, I mean, they were struggling, but we weren't just going to sit there and watch them, you know, so we all went over and tried to motivate them to help them do the best that they can do.
We're talking with Will Fish here from the Oakcrest football team here on the South Jersey Sports Report. The Falcons are getting ready for their season to open on September 19th at East Orange. They got a bye week in the first week. Will, we did a feature story on you for the football preview of Glory Days magazine, and as I was talking to Coach Smith, was really interested to find out the reason you wear number 26. Give us a little background on that.
I love the number. You know, it's kind of like a part of me now. But I mean, when I was younger, I never saw it as like the number. I kind of saw like that number as Brandon. So you know, I mean, like, he was the man. You know, like everybody looked up to. You know, Brandon was going to make the play. Brandon was going to make the catch. You know, and then when he left, it was kind of, you know, on the field, it was kind of like, well, who's gonna fill those shoes? And then, you know, one day Coach said, you know, he kind of pulled me to the locker room and said, like, Fish, and he showed me the number, and I was like, well, Coach, why are you showing me this number? And you know, they kind of gave me a speech, you know, told me what it's like to wear it. Like, it's not just a number; it's also you. Like, you have to embrace it. You know, be it on the field, off the field, with everybody. So, you know, I wanted to step up to that. I wanted to take that challenge. So, you know, I took it, and you know, for a year, the year that I got the jersey, it was all about like trying to fill those shoes. And I think once I finally felt that I filled those shoes, it was kind of just embodying it. You know, being that leader everywhere I can be. And, you know, now it's just, you know, I don't really see it as just a number anymore. You know, it's kind of normal, but I see it as just, you know, you got to be that leader everywhere. So I love it, you know.
For those of us in the listening audience who don't know what we're talking about here, Brandon Bell, who's currently linebacker up at Penn State, he was a senior when Will Fish was a freshman. And Coach Smith sort of not retired the number, but said, hey, you know, to wear this number, somebody's got to get it done on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the community. And he expected to not be handing out this number for several years. He didn't think anybody could fill those shoes of Brandon Bell. And yourself, Will, you get that number as a sophomore. What did that say to you, you know, about what the coaching staff thought of you and your leadership abilities?
I mean, at the time, I was kind of shocked. I didn't really know it. I didn't really realize what it meant. I didn't realize that it meant like Willie, like you're going to be a great leader. At the time, I was kind of like, you know, like, why am I getting this? So once I kind of felt myself around, you know, I kind of started to see that, you know, kids kind of respected me, and I was leading the team, and you know, I was actually being that leader, and I was filling those shoes. It kind of hit me that, you know, I'm supposed to be this great leader. So once I realized that, it was kind of just all uphill from there. You know, I was doing the best I can do to try and have everybody respect me, respect the coaches. That way we can all, you know, be that family that I was talking about. You know, I mean, being a family, you know, you got to respect each other. So I thought that was key and part of that. And once I think that all fell into place, I think the family aspect all fell into place as well.
And you and I were talking about this in the preseason. You know, you want to be that guy who's known in school as somebody that, you know, a non-football player, a non-athlete can come to and say, hey, Will, you know, I need some help with something. How important is that for you to be that guy in school? And, you know, you're not doing this for any kind of, you know, college stuff or any kind of recognition. You just kind of want to be that guy that, hey, I'm not just a football jock. I want to be a part of this school and this community and this family.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, you know, one of the number one things I kind of focus on. I don't want to just, cause, you know, you see a lot of people where it's like, yeah, you know, like they're getting scholarships, they're great, but in my eyes, I'm like, you know, like, who are they helping out in their school? You know what I mean? Like, how's their community? I feel like your community is such a big part of you that you've got to do everything you can to help them. whether it be a teacher, you know what I mean, a student, maybe like little Jimmy from down the street. You know, I feel like you got to help everybody out. And I feel like when you have the power to do that, then you should. So I feel like, you know, I have the power to help a lot of people, and I would love to give them my help. And, you know, it's very important to me.
All right, good stuff. Will, I appreciate you hopping on board, and good luck this season, and good luck in the season opener on September 19th.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks. That was Will Fish from the Oakcrest High School football team. Great young man, great leader, and like we said, he's getting it done on the field, in the classroom, in the school, in the community. So definitely somebody a lot of kids around here can look up to.